I would like to make the following formal declaration in view regarding when I believe XRP will go for that next higher and build another new autumn high. From my perspective, this is going to be the topic that we discuss in the video that we have for you today. When it comes to what I believe in this situation, some of you might have a different opinion, but let's look into it. In my perspective, XRP is currently waiting for the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, to be published, or more accurately, to be released. At this time, even workers of Ripple are expressing the same sentiment as Monica Long, who stated that 9 different organizations have submitted applications for additional PETFs. This year seems to be the year that the floodgates are going to open, full force. So, this was from the 12th of March in the year 2025, guys, and she made this statement, which is that the floodgates are going to open this year. Those of you who are interested in investing in exchange-traded funds, ETFs, should know that the deadlines for the ETFs are from the 18th of October to the 25th of this year. Either the SEC will provide its official approval or they will refuse, but it is evident that they will give their approval to the guys. It appears that XRP is also experiencing some movement. By the way, it appears as though it is pumping slightly here, which is wonderful news at this point in time. This is what I believe will occur with regard to the price of XRP. I believe that until the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, are publicly open to the general public, we should wait. I believe that one of the things that is going to take place is that XRP is going to just solidify. Now, once the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, have been given the official go-ahead, that is to come. Here I am expressing my official opinion. Okay, I believe that this time period, which begins right now and continues until the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, go online, is where we will see a lot of chop, such as this. That being said, the reason I believe that this is a good thing is that a great number of people made a great deal of money from this shift, right? Are you able to guess what occurred earlier? Do you have a question about something? When XRP rose from 50 cents to $3, or even when it went from being like this to being like this, what did XRP do? Gather together. A great number of persons were dismembered due to the fact that this transfer took place. In particular, this approach was causing people to lose money at a rate that had never been seen before. When it came to trading, so many people lost so much money. In the event that XRP moves in a rapid pace, they consolidate pricing, which seems to be the appropriate action to take in order to cause people to be sliced up. As a result, people are able to lose their money, and the exchanges obtain a significant amount of money. For the subsequent similar higher, it's going to get even higher than this, people. So let's get this out of the way. Also, the exchanges now have the funds necessary to compensate those who are long, the XRP. So that's my viewpoint on the matter here. The only thing that I believe XRP is actually waiting for is for the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, to become online. And I believe that this will happen within the next 2 months at the very most. It's funny because when the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, go live, are you able to guess what will happen? XRP ran amok at the beginning of November. There is going to be a replay of deja vu, right? The month of November saw a rise in the value of XRP. When it comes to getting our luggage packed, we basically have till November, guys, or until the end of this October, I suppose. And in conclusion, this is how it is going to play out. Last but not least, following this final step of consolidation. As a result, I believe that from this point forward to the state of the ETF, in my opinion, it is. Okay, let's get started. This is the same way that Gordon's thinks. There is a slight difference between the rate at which his consolidation occurs and the rate at which mine occurs. Indeed, it is way too close to the launch date of the exchange-traded funds. I suppose that he is front run or front runs the exchange-traded funds. In light of the fact that this is also what others have said about Bitcoin, I do not believe that exchange-traded funds are going to be front-run. People had the reaction, people are just going to front-run the ETFs and then they are going to dump on a day when Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, ETFs, become fully operational. This is quite accurate. It is true that they dumped. Guess what transpired after that, don't you think? In 1,000 years, this incident would only happen once. You basically purchase the rumor and then you buy the news as well, since exchange-traded funds, ETFs, have a good influence on XRP when it comes to the market. How come? The ETFs cannot be front-run in any way. Quite literally, you cannot. Because the moment the floodgates are opened, that is the moment when the money will literally begin to appear out of nowhere. Do you agree? That means you can't fool around with the money that's coming in, people, as well as making an effort to sell on the day that the ETFs go live. I believe that to be the case. It's just as explosive as the exchange-traded funds that Bitcoin has. Do you agree? And we are aware that we were really enthusiastic about the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, that Bitcoin offered. XRPs are going to experience an even more insane situation. All right, For this reason, Ralph Powell is basically putting all of his eggs in the XRP basket right now. The process of full porting and XRP were discussed. It's fine. In addition, he holds the exact identical belief such that according to 15 individuals, there are presently 15 filings and/or applications for XRP exchange-traded funds, ETFs, in the process of being approved in the North American market. The amount of money that will stream in here comes from Canary Capital, considering the number of exchange-traded funds that are about to go live. CEO, he forecasts that exchange-traded funds, ETFs, that invest in XRP will generate approximately $5 billion in their first month of operation. I don't know how much Bitcoin was, but if I'm not mistaken, it was definitely in the billions. And XRP, imagine all this liquidity flooding XRP right when XRP rampages upwards. People are not even going to sell because they are going to hold on for higher prices than double digits, which means there will be less selling pressure. All of these things are happening. It is therefore only a question of time, gentlemen. I am aware that the energy in the XRP community is low, but all that is required of us is to wait a little bit more, just a little bit longer before the floodgates are actually opened. It is just a tick-tock. When this is taken into consideration, the approval probability for the Ripple ETF or the XRP ETF on Polymarket are now hovering at 86%. So, well, at this point, they ought to give that their whole attention. Because of all that money demand, the money element, Washington wants to get in on once and on the gains, folks, right? It is guaranteed that it will go live because of all that money demand. And here are all of the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, the total amount of assets on which these asset managers hold the dollar value, which is in the billions, if not the trillions, all right? Does anyone here have any idea how much money is going to be invested in XRP in the near future? It is going to be ed by them. It is important to note that they repressed XRP for almost a decade. There is a need for that energy to be released, and it is about to do so. This is on the verge of happening. As of all of the people are content and everything like that. Yes, it is a perfect complement for each other. Over the course of the first month, time was 5 billion. Have you not changed your mind about that? What are your thoughts on the chances of that happening? That is the case. On Wall Street and in the world of finance, I would say that XRP is definitely the most well-known cryptocurrency, followed by Bitcoin. Ethereum, on the other hand, is arguably the third most well-known cryptocurrency. Oh my goodness, he mentioned that the second position for the attention, or at least the amount of individuals who are aware of a particular asset, is XRP, and then after that, it is Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. Guys, when the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, go online officially at the end of the month of October, the mainstream media will get the full green light to talk about XRP, mostly due to the fact that it is still not stated on sometimes. And they say Ripple, I am going to speculate that they are going to begin using the 3 letters XRP from that point forward. This is due to the fact that Wall Street will be investing their money in the asset, which will immediately help the price movement of XRP, causing it to go up. To put it another way, if you think about it that way, my heart is smiling because I am so excited. To put it simply, from the perspective of financial services, I am of the opinion that XRP has the potential to outperform Ethereum. You should know that Ethereum, if we take a look at Ethereum here, all of this price motion here from here to here was the ETFs going on a spree brought on by Ethereum. Over and over again, day after day after day, people continued to buy it at an ever-increasing rate. Ethereum, when the money was like flowing into Ethereum, folks, it could go up to 2 to 3 times its current value. By the way, it's going to go much higher, right? When the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, go live, let's just say that the price of XRP will be 3 times, 9 times. There are 9 men. At 9x, XRP is equivalent to 29, 28 and $30. All right, so that is what I believe will take place with consolidation. Those who do not like to grow bored are the ones who wish to become bored. Okay, that is what I believe. And then toward the end of this year, when the floodgates are finally opened, that is when things start to become insane. The Amplify ETF Trust has filed effective revisions for an XRP monthly option income ETF, which is intended to provide monthly income and is currently awaiting clearance from the Financial Conduct Authority. The amount of interest in XRP is really incredible. At this moment, there are 10 XRP treasury firms that have been announced to the public. Every single one of them purchased XRP. Even without the exchange-traded funds, ETFs, being active, that is the case. The next step is to imagine. So here it is, finally. A price forecast based on information from Cointelegraph is shown below. Even though it is still in the distribution phase, analysts anticipate that XRP will reach at least